check, 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 check. We not take back no check. You pep talk.
Hey, this is Steve Kim from Snack.com and the 3 Knockdown Rule, and you're locked into Come Box with Chan with Lady Chan.
That real DJ in the building.
That's right. We're always in the building. So, talking about the Hall of Fame, Deontay Wilder, does he get in your opinion?
No.
Well,
I just kept it short and simple.
I don't think so.
I'm very stern and on my stance that I just don't think Deontay Wilder is Hall of Fame worthy. I'm sick of people talking about the 10 measly of level of opponent title defenses that he did. Like I keep telling people, I feel like a robot. Like 8 of them were voluntary. Like I have to say it at every conversation.
I mean, Chan, like these are Wilder fanboys you're talking to. So you would defend this. I mean, it's the weakest title reign in probably heavyweight champion history.
Weakest,
like ever.
Weakest
ever.
I was actually shouts out to D-Star Boxing as well. I was actually on Joe Beeb. I was actually a guest on their show the other day, Roundtable, and shouts out to Gail. So I was like, Wilder is Hall of Fame, da, 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 da. And I realized she's one of the Hall of Fame panelists that she helps vote if people are going to get in or not. And she basically, I just said all my stuff. I said, listen, if he gets in first ballot, I'm not ever taking the Hall of Fame credible again. I don't care, mate. Yeah, he's fought no one, and she was like, she had to agree and go, I don't think he gets in first ballot either. She said he may get in, but she said basically they have. So if he's nominated, you've got 10 years before you're thrown off the list. So you've got 30 tries. It's quite a lot of tries because I think they do like three years 3 times a year they see who's going to be nominated or whatever. So after those cycles, if you don't make that ballot, then you got next year. If you don't make that after, if you don't even get nominated in it again, then you just don't get nominated it again. But she was quite in agreement. So he's not first ballot. And shouts out to D-Style, but D-Style was like, he deserves to go in the Hall of Fame because he did 10 title defenses. I'm like, so what?
Say that again.
My friend said he should. My friend said Deontay Wilder should get into the Hall of Fame because he's done 10 title defenses.
Who did he fight?
Nobody.
Exactly.
Except for 8 of them, like I said, voluntary. Then he had Tyson Fury, so that's the only name he lost. He has no signature win. Like he doesn't have a signature win.
Okay, I know what you get.
Yeah, he doesn't have a signature win. And the level of competition that he's fought, some of them are not. Some people are unranked. Even as a champion, when he rematched Bermain Stavern, who he got the belt from, Bermain Stavern wasn't even in the top 500. He was unranked, totally unranked.
Yep, was coming off an appalling fight with a journeyman where he barely managed to squeak by. Took a 2-year layoff. Was actually he just recycled and moved up to the mandatory position. Ridiculous.
What did you say, Beats?
No, he was a mandatory contender, actually. Right.
Yeah.
By some careful crafting by the WBC.
It wasn't voluntary.
Yeah, he was a Mando, but this is the thing. Like when he was unranked though. When he came in, he was like,
you can't be unranked if you're
he was the mandatory. Listen, but when he came back, they put him in a rank, but he wasn't ranked. After he got beat by Deontay Wilder the first time and got the belt, he dropped completely out of. We're not doing that. We're talking, top 10 rankings. I get it. I got it. But there's a whole ranking list of box for 500 of the world, and Anthony Joshua's on it. you know, our heavyweights are on it. They're placed. Dillian White's on it. Like where you place in the entire world as a heavyweight, right? Everyone's got that. Bermaine Stavern got put into mandatory. He came in after he got beat by Deontay Wilder the first time. He weren't even ranked. He didn't even hold a ranking. He just literally, there was just 499 better fighters than him that was ranked. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Some fighters get moved up, like Dillian White. I forget where he was. He was like Dillian White's like, you know, like number.
He was tough.
Wasn't it like he number one contender for like more than like 1,000 days?
The whole 500 rankings we did, I think Dillian White was something like, you know, like number 60 or something. 60
Dylan was tough. He just
Anthony
did an uppercut.
Anthony Joshua, I think Usyk. Now they're in like the top 50, like of the world of everybody. Like they're like in the top. Well, I mean they're in the top 10. Like, do you know what I mean? Because of what they are. And then you got like the Dillian Whites, but this goes down. The rankings goes down to the top. It's the top 500. And if you look at Deontay Wilder's career, AJ, which we have, and we're going to have to finish it, right, to look at his career because we've did 2 episodes and we've got another one to do.
Okay.
And he's literally, like I said, he's fighting light heavyweights, super middleweights. These guys were not even ranked. Half of them was not. He did title defenses with people that weren't even ranked in the top 100. I mean, you
fighting them?
So, huh?
Who was fighting them?
Deontay Wilder.
Oh, right. Okay.
So what I'm saying is, people arguing about this geezer should be going to the Hall of Fame. I appreciate everybody's got an opinion, but you're going to have to base your opinion on some kind of like facts or some kind of something solid. Surely you can't just say as a boxing pundit, boxing person, like, and I'm seeing people just because you did 10 title defenses. Listen, if that's what the Hall of Fame allows you into 10 title defenses, I was telling him, you got that, the guy from Germany, what was his name? I was talking about him, Sven, 20 title defenses in Germany. Yeah, he did 20. He's not in the Hall of Fame. So do you know who I'm talking about, Beats?
Yeah, Sven Otka.
Yeah. So why ain't he in the Hall of Fame? Oh, because Deontay Wilder did 10. Sven did, look, it's like a tongue twister. Deontay Wilder did 10. Then comes Sven. Then comes Sven. Sven did 20. He's not in it because it's about the level of opponent. How that you do your successful title defense and runs with. Your resume is muy importante. It's important. Yeah. So miss me with this. Deontay Wilder should be in the Hall of Fame because if he is, then you're right. It is a money thing, and I'm not. And Shan won't be backing him, and I've left the people dizzy. I think I'm coming from a place of some kind of fact. And
no, Chan, you are. I mean, because like, listen to this. So like, all right, so I looked it up, right? All right, so after Bermaine Stavern loses, right? He until Deontay Wilder in November of that same year fights Derek Rossi, who's a journeyman. I heard he struggled against him badly, barely scraped by with a win.
Yep.
Doesn't fight for another 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Then he's the mandatory for Deontay Wilder. Huh?
Bought in. Then he got bought in, like Beat said. You can't be a Mando without being ranked. Yeah. So he fell out of the rankings totally. The WBC paid their money, put him in the rankings. You know, we've seen it. It happens now.
Yeah. I mean, but that doesn't get you. That shouldn't get you a mandatory.
They wanted to knock him out because he didn't knock him out the first time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that fight was just, oh Lord, that rematch, boy.
Yeah. You know, maybe he gets in on the premise that he was a bronze medalist. That's all. There's other people. I mean, there's argument that you know the criteria is just changed, and I mean, but all I'm saying is if he gets in, it's not going to be first ballot because the lady is saying that we'll have this presented to us. We'll have like she said or whatever she was like. So there'd be Joshua, Fury, and Usyk and Wilder, and we have to pick 3 out of those for first ballot. Joshua Fury Wilder, she said, would get in first ballot. Joshua Fury Usyk would get in first ballot if those are the 4 selections that we have to pick up. Wilder's not she said Wilder's not. I wouldn't pick Wilder first ballot out of that. She said them 3 guys are first ballot. Like, they'll be first ballot Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Fury's resume's trash, but he's got signature win, and he's had every belt that you can win, right?
True.
So I get it. I got it. Usyk, you know, he's going to be.
Then no more needs to be said about Usyk. Like he's a shoe-in. Like, you know, nothing needs to be said.
Anthony Joshua, 2-time unified heavyweight champion, golden Olympian,
Yep.
12 championship fights. Yeah. So listen, and more to come. So if he gets the belt this time, then he'll be a 3-time heavyweight champion, which was only done, I think, by back in the day. Was that? I think Evander Holyfield was
Right.
Yeah, Josh, he's made 7 defenses in total of the unified title. So yeah.
7, and then but in 12 championship fights.
Yeah.
Wow.
So So listen, that is going to be, and you're still building and doing more. Because obviously their careers are still going on, so you know. But what we're saying, that's a good start so far. We can see, you're probably heading to the Hall of Fame, you guys. But you can't say the same story for Wilder. There isn't a case for it. There just isn't.
You do. You got a point. Got a point.
If he gets in first ballot, Hall of Fame is discredited to me, and I had to say it to the lady. I said sorry. She followed me on Twitter afterwards. She was like, "Girl," so I must have said some right shit because she followed me after that. Like,
because Chan, like, you know how everybody just propped up Luis Ortiz as part of the narrative. But do you know how? But do you know how I know this worked? I was talking to a guy I know who's a casual, pretty much. I mean, he knows boxing, but he's kind of more like a casual. We were arguing about Deontay Wilder's resume, just having a debate about it. And I just told him Wilder's beat nobody of note. He hasn't.
Right.
Then I said, don't tell me he beat Luis Ortiz. And he just drops dead silent. And he was just silent. And I asked him, "You were going to say Luis Ortiz, weren't you?" And he was looking at me like, you were. Yeah.
Luis Ortiz, his best win, Bright Jennings, never been a champion in his whole life. Then you step up, you fight Tyson Fury. You lost. You got beat. You stepped up 3 times, mustered a draw, lost 2 times, got beat down to the guards. Yeah. Then you fought Joseph Parker. He pitched a 12-round shutout. Then you fought Zhilei Zhang, who is rated in the top 10. You got knocked out. So who is your signature? Who did you beat? The Hall of Fame's going to have to look at that. You never unified in the 4-belt era.
Never even tried.
Even though you had the opportunity, because they're going to have to look at this, that you had the opportunity, multiple opportunities,
several
to unify Joshua, to be undisputed. You never tried to do that. You didn't fight the people that were in your era. Pay it in mind, he turned pro 2008, Joshua 2013. But yet Joshua musters to be a unified champion heavyweight, not once, but twice. In the Buddhism. Stop it, man. Leave me alone. You see this? This is what I do.
Joshua put his punches together better than all of those guys. Listen, his defense, though, he lacks defense.
Yeah.
But he put his punches together better than all of those boxers.
I'm just waiting just to see this achievements of how. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame of excuses. G-Man said, okay. Of course, Wilder, for real. So I just want to know: is everybody at the? It beats. You've been quite quiet. Is Deontay Wilder Hall of Fame? Your honest opinion. You always give
Hall of Fame, isn't it? So. It's not like all-time great. So maybe for his popularity in America, they might put him in there, because he scored a lot of knockouts. America haven't had much in the heavyweight division since Tim's era.
Well, who did he get the knockouts against?
Exactly, Beats. He didn't knock out no one. He's not.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just hype, and it's fame and hype and.
But that shouldn't get you. I don't think that gets you into the Hall of Fame, surely. No. Because there's a lot of fighters that knocked people out on the trot. Loads. They're not in the Hall of Fame. And yes, there are people. I found out that why certain people are in the Hall of Fame that shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame is that sometimes they're kind of pressured to pick the best out of a bad bunch.
Let me add this, though.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the Hall of Fame conventions are in America. they're not going to run them and not have American boxers in there. So, you know, like now there's a lot of Eastern Europeans and the Brits have been running things in boxing. America need a representation, and
he just won't be first ballot. He may get in on what you're saying, but just not first ballot. Because that's the argument. I think he does get in. That's the sad thing. I think he does get in, but I just like the lady from the panel. She just doesn't think it's first ballot either.
Well, you know,
I mean,
you got to win. You got to win some big fights with big names, and the guys that he really won against, nobody knows them unless I just don't remember guys.
No, we don't know him. Tell me,
Yeah.
tell me, John A. Wilder's. Who's the guys that he fought that you remember? Name 15 guys that are memorable fights that John A. Wilder. I could probably name them because I know his resume, but like the general masses, no one knows who they are. No one knows who they are.
Yeah, but I really feel bad that this guy got one of the strongest and accurate right hands in boxing history. I'm not saying he's the number one, but he's up there with the right hand, but couldn't get taught all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? That was the big difference. He just had the right hand, no defense. He didn't even have a good jab. He depended on that. And that is really bad. That's what's really bad about his situation. Was why we're debating whether he should be Hall of Fame. He could have been Hall of Fame if he knew what to do with that left side.
Easily.
Everything was the right. Everything was the right hand.
Yeah, everything's right hand. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I'm afraid I just don't see how he gets in. If he gets in, just everybody should get in then. Just throw everyone in.
Because, I mean, Shannon, I know this is
Round one.
All right. Starting off, round number one, it was Matchroom versus Queensberry, who ruled 5 versus 5, and it was a skunking for Frank Warren over the stable, led by Eddie Hearn from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. But the main event, heavyweight, Zhilei Zhang with a TKO in 5 over Deontay Wilder. Mario, have we seen the end of the Bronze Bomber?
I hesitate because two things. I think we've seen the end of his dominance with the heavyweight elites. He looked a little off to me from the eyes and in his approach into the ring. That right hand it was coming out quick and furious like it has many times, and he actually caught Zhang with it a couple times, but it was also his demise because he didn't set it up other than his usual, just 1-2, no feints, no combos to put behind it. And that's ultimately what Zhang caught him with, because he knew that same 1-2 was coming, was that counter right hook, followed by another big right hook when he decided to stop and have a conversation with the ref for some reason. I don't know what he was trying to say, or if he was trying to say he got hit from behind. Maybe he got hit so hard he didn't realize. But there's a big man countering you. So I think we've seen the best of Wilder. I don't know if we've seen the last, because he is such an appealing, entertaining guy. You can't name a boring fight he's ever been in. I can't think of one, to be honest with you. So maybe there might be a swan song with, like, say, an Anthony Joshua or something along those lines, or an Andy Ruiz. I think if the price is right, we may see him one more time. You know the history of this sport, guys. Leave far too late rather than far too early. But as far as his dominance, the aura, and maybe as a champion, it's hard to say. You'll never see him maybe hold that belt again when he's got such an eraser like he does, but perhaps odds are that we have.
Mario, my view, that eraser has been worn down to a nub. No longer does he launch that missile, and he looks like a guy that is gun shy. Keep this in mind. With this loss, he's 43-4-1 with 42 knockouts, but, and again, he's faced some good guys like Tyson Fury, for instance, and now Zhilei Zhang. He's lost 4 out of 5, and the stoppage losses are now coming with regularity. Okay? And the other thing is, his legs have always been very skinny, but they look even more frail now.
Right.
And I did not see him commit off of a right hand punching through that front foot. Everything looked a little bit hesitant.
There was reluctance, yes.
You know, and what's that old line from Rocky 3? The worst thing happened to him that can happen to a fighter.
Got civilized.
He got civilized. And we look at Zhilei Zhang. He was giving up 68 pounds. That is very, very tough. Now, as for the winner, Big Bang Zhang, I talked to the Lane brothers who are in charge of this career. Couple things. They would love to get Anthony Joshua. I don't think that's going to happen. I get the sense that Joshua is going to face another man that had a big victory on this card. There could be a chance they do a big show out in China. So the options are there, but it's clear Zhilei Zhang, in my view, is a top 3 or 4 heavyweight. And despite his plodding style, you cannot teach that power and you cannot teach that size. On any given day, this guy is dangerous. But getting back to Deontay Wilder, forget the recent results. He's also 38. Mario, I just don't see a pathway for him to go back to relevance.
Look, do I personally think he should retire? I say yes for his health. And he's got nothing left to prove in the sense that he's made a lot of money. He got into this game to help his daughter. He's made a lot of money. Hopefully he invested it well. He should go and be proud of the career he's had, especially for a guy that came into the sport relatively late, create a lot of buzz, gave us a lot of great moments. Go enjoy your family, take care of that money. Maybe he can do something behind the scenes. As far as being in the squared circle, if I was managing him, promoting him, or as a friend, I would tell him no. It's very tough, as you know, for these guys to walk away. They feel they have one more in them, especially when they're dangling a very pricey carrot. And if it's like an Anthony Joshua type of, which has been kind of rumored, bandied about, then it's going to be hard for him to walk away if that's 20, 30 million.
Yeah, if Wilder,
it's a lot of money.
What is the price of your health?
Well, that's what I say. Maybe somebody's in his ear saying, "Hey, Joshua," and I don't know if you can say this anymore, but he could be a little chinny. Maybe he's not the same himself, and he's there for the taking with that right hand. And they convince him. I'm just saying that could be dialogue that could be going down there. And hey, it's 20 million, it's 30 million, whatever the case may be. But you're right. Personally, I wouldn't do it. He's made a lot of money. He doesn't need to. But that's going to be tough. And more times often than not, they convince themselves and they do get back in there.
If Wilder would quit right now, I would say that's a successful career. Started late. Yep. He was fun. He was flawed. He was dangerous. He was vulnerable. Gave us some memorable nights. Was involved in a historic trilogy that I think we're going to look back and say, wow, that was good for boxing. And he also made a good chunk of change. By all accounts, that's a success.
You stamping for the Hall of Fame?
I would say he falls just short. Had a pretty good amount of defenses, 10 WBC title defenses. But outside of Louis Ortiz, what's the signature victory that puts him over the top?
And by the way, that was a tough, close fight, too.
The first one, certainly.
Fight. But the reason I asked, too, is because when you start hearing phrases like the hardest puncher ever.
You did.
You did hear that often. And the most devastating 1 KO power. So when you start hearing stuff like that ever, of all time, as far as punching, does it make you not pause to consider it at least?
We got to put this in context. I think he was very adroitly match made. It was not a great era for heavyweights. He was never really involved in a unification bout. And again, in the fact that when he stepped up to the pocket and faced a guy like Tyson Fury, who was thought to be the other number 1 guy in that division, he may have gone 0-3. So, I think he had a great career. I'm not so sure, based on my standards, that he would make Canastota.
Chickadee, check. Hey girl, let's lay the shot. We know it's a while, you don't want the drama.